people who are grateful seem to get more than people who are resentful. You know why? Because people who are resentful don't understand that their resentment itself is what's blocking. And when they do get something, their instantaneous response to it is, it's not enough. It's not big enough. Somebody else got something that's better. I should have had this. I wanted it yesterday. I showed up too late. It's not the right color. It's not the right size. You know. This idea is not just good citizenship we're talking about here. It's cultivating this attitude of flow, of allowing, of permitting things to continue to grow in you, because gratitude is love. Now, the hardest part about gratitude for most people is the understanding that you have to also be grateful when things don't show up. And you have to learn, this is the toughest part, you have to learn to be grateful for that which you don't have, and for the suffering that you are going through, and for the experiences of scarcity that seem to be present in your life. Because in essence, until you can be grateful in these moments and understand that you can't have sobriety, generally speaking, without having known its opposite. Everything in the physical plane has its opposite. People who have been through addictions generally know and appreciate and are grateful for those addictions when they transcend them. You won't find very many alcoholics who are in recovery who will say, I resent my addiction days. Instead, what they say is, they were the greatest teachers I ever had. And I couldn't be where I am today without having had those. Now, this is true for all of our experiences. When people say to me, can you really say that you are grateful that your father walked out of your life when you were just a baby? Can you really say that the time that he spent in prison, and the fact that he never sent any money, and the fact that you had to spend early years in foster homes and so on, and away from the rest of your family, can you really say that you're grateful for that? I say, my father was my greatest teacher. I never met the man. But without my experience of learning to rely upon myself as a young boy, I couldn't, as a grown man, be teaching self-reliance today. Couldn't do it. Because to learn to rely upon yourself is something that you have to have the direct conscious experience of. And when you've had it, then you can teach it. And I'm grateful for it. I was having dinner last night with my oldest daughter, Tracy, and I was thinking about her mother and I, who have been divorced for 25 years now. And I was telling Tracy at dinner that your mother, even though we didn't agree and didn't get along, your mother was one of the great people in my life. There are many qualities that both of us could look at in her, and she could look at in me, certainly, and say, these are the reasons why it didn't work. But you can also do the opposite. You can look at this person and say, but look at these qualities. Look at the honesty. Look at the integrity. Look at these things and remember that. And my experience being married to my daughter's mother, to Judy, those many years ago, when I was a young boy, it seems like, taught me how to be not only a better husband later on and a better father, but it gave me direct experiences of being able to transcend my own pettiness and my own inability to relate at a level that I am able to do today. Without that, I couldn't be where I am today. I've often said to people, I am what is called a reverse paranoid. You know, when you ask someone, what is a paranoid? Well, a paranoid thinks that everybody is talking about you and that they're saying terrible things about you. And a reverse paranoid is someone who knows that everybody's talking about you, but they're saying nice things about you. So when you walk by and someone says, are they talking about me? You say, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they be? And this attitude of being able to be grateful, not just for the things that are manifesting and showing up in your life, but for the things that don't show up. And for those experiences, when you get to a point where in this moment, I can now say, okay, it didn't show up, and there's a great lesson in this, and I'll get that lesson, and then I'll stop the blockage of abundance flowing into my life. That's what gratitude is. It is the free expression of the heart to the fullness of the universe, and an understanding that you're not going to get it all, that you are it all already. You are it all already. That divine, organizing, omniscient, all-loving, unconditional loving God is in you already. And everything that you need to be peaceful, to have love, to be successful, you already have in this moment. You don't need one thing more. Anything else that shows up is just a bonus from the universe. And you ought to be grateful for all of it.
There are moments in life when the world around you shifts, when the unseen becomes more real than the seen, and when your very presence carries a weight that cannot be explained by human understanding. If you notice these things happening, then know that you carry the presence of God. You begin to feel a deep inner peace, one that does not depend on external circumstances. The storms of life may rage, yet within you there is stillness. This is not mere calmness. It is the awareness that you are held, that you are guided, and that nothing can shake the foundation upon which you stand. It is as if the very air around you hums with the assurance of divine protection. The desires of your heart begin to align effortlessly with your reality. Things you once strived for now flow into your life with ease. There is no need for struggle, for you have stepped into the realm of divine manifestation. Your words carry weight. What you speak begins to unfold before you, and what you believe with conviction finds its way into your experience. This is not coincidence. This is the evidence of God's power working through you. People are drawn to you, not for what you do, but for what you radiate. Some will come to you for wisdom, sensing that within you lies something greater than knowledge, a knowing that surpasses human intellect. Others may resist you, for the light within you exposes what is hidden. Your presence alone stirs the hearts of those around you, awakening in them either love or resistance. This is the mark of someone who carries divine presence. You find that obstacles no longer hold power over you. Where once doors remained shut, now they open before you. Paths unfold in ways you never anticipated, and opportunities arrive at the perfect moment. There is no need to chase after anything, for the universe bends in your favor. The energy of struggle is replaced by the grace of divine movement. Even in the face of adversity, you walk with assurance, knowing that all things are working together for your highest good. Your words and thoughts take on a new power. You begin to speak life into situations, and they transform before your eyes. Doubt loses its grip, and faith becomes second nature. You no longer beg or plead. Instead, you affirm, knowing that your prayers are not petitions, but declarations of truth. There is an authority in your voice, not from arrogance, but from the certainty that you and the divine are one. You experience a heightened awareness of divine synchronicity. You think of something, and almost instantly, confirmation appears. A message, a sign, a perfectly timed encounter. Everything aligns as if guided by an unseen hand. It is not luck. It is the natural outworking of carrying God's presence. You are no longer a mere observer of life. You are a creator, moving in harmony with divine will. Even in solitude, you are never alone. You sense the unseen, feel the embrace of a presence that walks with you, speaks to you, and moves through you. Fear dissolves because you know that you are sustained by something eternal. There is no separation between you and the divine. You are the vessel through which divine power flows. What once seemed distant is now as close as your own breath. You begin to see beyond appearances. Where others see lack, you see abundance. Where others see limitations, you see infinite possibilities. Your vision is no longer confined to the physical. You see with the eyes of faith, knowing that reality is shaped by what is unseen. Your world is no longer controlled by circumstances. It is shaped by the power of your belief. When you notice these things, know that you are not ordinary. You carry something sacred, something powerful, something eternal. You carry the presence of God. There is a weight to your existence, a presence that extends beyond flesh and bone. You do not walk as others walk, nor do you see as others see. There is an awareness within you, an unshakable knowing that transcends logic. When you carry the presence of God, life does not happen to you. It flows through you, responding to the force of your consciousness. Everything around you begins to shift. The places you once found comfort, it may no longer hold the same appeal. The conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. You are no longer drawn to the noise of the world because something deeper calls you. Silence becomes your sanctuary. Not because you are alone, but because in the stillness you can hear the whisper of the divine. The distractions that once captured your attention now fade. For your spirit craves something greater. Running from the world, you are ascending above it. Time bends to those who carry the presence of God. What takes years for others to accomplish happens in moments for you. You think it, you believe it, and it manifests. What once seemed distant is now within reach. This is not wishful thinking. It is the nature of divine power. You do not chase, for what is yours gravitates towards you. There is no need for toil, for your very presence commands alignment. You step into a room, and the atmosphere shifts. Those who recognize the presence upon you will be drawn to you, while those who resist it will be unsettled. You are a carrier of something beyond human comprehension. You feel an overwhelming sense of love, not the fleeting kind found in human relationships, but a love that surpasses all understanding. It is the love that calms storms, the love that heals wounds, the love that whispers, "You are not separate, you are one with all that is." You look upon others with compassion, for you see beyond their actions, beyond their words. You see the divine spark within them, even when they cannot see it themselves. Where there is hate, you bring peace. Where there is chaos, you bring order. You do not react to the world, you shape it. Doors open before you as if an unseen hand goes before you, clearing the path. What seemed impossible now stands before you, waiting for you to step into it. You do not beg for opportunities, for you understand that they are drawn to you. You do not fear loss, for nothing real can be taken from you. The presence of God within you is the source of all provision, and you move through life with unwavering confidence. Others may call it luck, but you know the truth. It is the divine working through you. You begin to notice divine patterns. What once seemed like random occurrences now reveal themselves as orchestrated moments of destiny. You think of something, and the answer appears. You speak of someone, and they call you. You take a step forward, and the path unfolds before you. Coincidence no longer exists in your world. Everything is aligned, everything is ordered, everything is working in your favor. This is what happens when you carry the presence of God. People will misunderstand you. They will question your peace, your certainty, your unwavering faith. Some will try to pull you back into doubt, back into the ordinary ways of thinking. But you cannot go back. You have touched something eternal, and nothing less will satisfy you. The opinions of others no longer concern you, for you have found something greater than human approval. You walk with the confidence of one who knows their purpose, one who knows they are guided, one who knows they are never alone. Your words are no longer empty. You speak, and things move. You declare, and reality aligns. You do not hope for things to change. You expect them to. You understand the power of your voice, the creative force within you. When you say, "Let there be," it is so. The presence you carry does not allow for doubt. For doubt has no place where God resides. You do not pray with uncertainty. You speak with assurance. You do not ask timidly. You command boldly. Your faith is not fragile. It is unshackable. There is a boldness within you that cannot be explained. Where others hesitate, you move forward. Where others fear, you stand firm. There is no need for validation, for you already know who you are. The presence of God does not make you timid. It makes you powerful. You do not seek to fit in, for you were never meant to. You do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable, for you were created to shine. Your presence alone is a statement, a declaration that something greater is at work within you. You are no longer moved by appearances. What seems like a setback is nothing more than a setup. What looks like loss is only preparation for something greater. You see beyond the surface, beyond the temporary. Your trust is not in what you see with your eyes, but in what you know within your spirit. You walk by faith, not by sight. When others panic, you remain calm. When others retreat, you advance. The presence of God does not allow you to cower. It compels you to rise. You attract favor in ways that cannot be explained. Where others strive, you succeed effortlessly. Where others knock on doors, doors swing open for you. It is not because of who you are, but because of who is with you. You do not need connections, for you are already connected to the source of all things. You do not need permission, for you have already been chosen. The presence of God upon you is your qualification, and nothing can stand in the way of divine favor. Obstacles become stepping stones. What was meant to break you only builds you. What was meant to stop you only propels you forward. You are no longer bound by limitations, for you know that all things are possible. The presence of God within you removes barriers, dismantles opposition, and makes a way where there was no way. You are not waiting for circumstances to change. You are shifting circumstances with your faith. You begin to recognize the divine in every moment. You see God in the sunrise, in the laughter of a child, in the kindness of a stranger. The world is no longer mundane. It is sacred. Every breath is a gift. Every step is ordered. Every encounter is divine. You are aware, awake, alive in a way that others are not. You see the unseen, hear the unheard, know the unknown. There is no fear in you, for fear cannot exist where God dwells. You do not fear lack, for you know abundance. You do not fear failure, for you know success is inevitable. You do not fear death, for you know that you are eternal. The presence of God dissolves all fear, replacing it with unshackable confidence. You do not hesitate, you do not doubt, you do not retreat. You move forward with the authority of one who knows they are sent. You do not complain, for you understand the power of your words. You do not speak of lack, for you know that what you declare becomes your reality. You guard your tongue, for you recognize that every word carries weight. You do not waste energy on negativity, for you are too focused on creating. Your speech is deliberate. Your thoughts are intentional. Your actions are aligned with divine purpose. You live with gratitude, for you know that everything is working for your good. Even in challenges, you see the blessing. Even in trials, you find the lesson. You do not dwell on what is missing. You celebrate what is already yours. Your heart is full, your spirit is light, your mind is at peace. Gratitude is not something you practice. It is something you embody. Your life is a testimony. Without speaking a word, your presence alone tells the story of divine power at work. You are a living, breathing manifestation of God's presence. You do not have to convince others, they see it. You do not have to prove yourself, it is evident. When you walk into a room, something shifts. When you speak, something moves. When you believe, something happens. If you notice these things happening in your life, then know without a doubt that you carry the presence of God. There is a stillness within you that no storm can shake. The world around you may be filled with noise, but inside there is peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the kind that remains unmoved, unshaken, untouched. It is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of something greater. While others panic at uncertainty, you rest, for you know who holds your future. You do not fear what is to come, for you already walk in the assurance that all things are working for your good. The presence you carry is not one of doubt, but of divine certainty. People begin to come to you, drawn to something they cannot explain. They seek your presence, your words, your energy, though they may not understand why. It is not you they are after, but what is within you. You are a vessel of something divine, and even those who do not know God can sense that you walk with something greater. They bring their burdens, their questions, their confusion, hoping that just by being near you, they might receive clarity. You do not force wisdom upon them, but when you speak, it is as though truth flows through you effortlessly. Your words are not just heard, they are felt. They penetrate the heart, breaking chains, lifting spirits, awakening minds. You will notice that enemies arise, but you do not fear them. Resistance increases, but you do not falter. You understand that opposition is only proof of the power you carry. Darkness does not fight what does not threaten it. The moment you begin to walk fully in the presence of God, those who operate in deception and fear will feel the weight of your presence, but you do not fight with anger, for there is no need. You do not defend yourself, for the truth stands on its own. You do not seek revenge, for vengeance belongs to the divine. You simply stand, unbothered, unshaken, immovable. Your patience deepens. You no longer rush through life, chasing after things that were never meant for you. You do not strive, for you know that what is meant for you will come effortlessly. What others fight for, you attract. What others beg for, you receive freely. You understand that delay is not denial, but divine alignment. There is no need to panic, no need to force, no need to doubt. What is yours will find you, and nothing can take it away. Your trust is complete, your faith unwavering. You find yourself speaking differently. Words of doubt no longer exit your mouth. You do not say, I hope it works. You say, it is done. You do not say, I am afraid. You say, I am at peace. Your words are not casual. They are declarations. You know that the power of life and death is in the tongue, and you refuse to speak defeat over your life. Your language shifts from lack to abundance, from worry to trust, from uncertainty to confidence. You are careful with your words, for you understand that what you declare becomes your reality. Your energy changes. You do not chase people. You do not force relationships. You do not cling to what is leaving. What is not meant for you falls away effortlessly, and you do not mourn it. You do not grieve lost friendships, for you understand that elevation requires separation. You are not offended when people walk away, for you know that not everyone can go where you are going. You release without resistance, knowing that whatever is meant for you will remain. You are no longer desperate for connection, for you have already found the greatest connection of all. Your desires shift. What once excited you no longer holds your attention. The things that used to entertain you now seem dull. You hunger for wisdom, for truth, for depth. Surface-level conversations no longer interest you. You crave divine insight, revelation, understanding. You no longer waste time on things that do not feed your spirit. Your focus narrows, your priorities change, your heart aligns with a higher calling. What used to drain you now disgusts you. What once tempted you now repels you. You are no longer satisfied with anything less than divine purpose. People around you may not understand. Some will call you distant, others will say you have changed. They are right. You have changed. You are no longer who you once were. You no longer fit into the spaces that once contained you. You no longer engage in the same distractions. You have outgrown the version of yourself that needed external validation. You no longer seek approval, for you have already been approved by the divine. You do not explain yourself, for truth needs no defense. You do not justify your transformation, for those meant to understand will see it for themselves. You notice miracles more often. not because they were not happening before, but because your eyes are now open to them. The world calls them coincidences, but you know better. You see the hand of God in everything, the timing, the connections, the opportunities. They are too perfect to be random. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is aligned. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not doubt, for you see the evidence everywhere. You do not question, for you know that all things are working in divine order. You carry peace with you and others feel it. You enter a space, and without saying a word, the atmosphere shifts. Tension dissolves, anxiety fades, burdens lighten. It is not your presence that does this, but the presence within you. It is undeniable, unmistakable, unshakable. You do not need to announce it, for it is evident in how you move, how you speak, how you exist. You radiate something beyond human comprehension, something that cannot be fabricated, something that cannot be imitated. You can radiate something that cannot be imitated. You lose interest in arguments, in proving yourself, in convincing others. You are no longer affected by the opinions of those who do not understand your calling. You do not waste energy debating with those who refuse to see. You walk away from conflict, not because you are weak, but because you know your strength is not in words, but in presence. You do not engage in battles that are beneath you, for you understand that your victory has already been secured. You do not react to negativity, for you know that nothing can touch you unless you allow it. Your dreams become clearer, more vivid, more powerful. What used to be mere thoughts now come alive. You see glimpses of the future before they unfold. Your intuition sharpens. Your discernment deepens. You sense things before they happen. You know things without being told. You feel shifts in the spiritual realm before they manifest in the physical. You are guided, led, directed at every step. You no longer question where you are going, for you trust the one who is leading you. Everything that once confused you now makes sense. The delays, the detours, the disappointments, they were never setbacks, only setups. Every closed door was protection. Every loss was preparation. Every struggle was strengthening you for what is to come. You see now that nothing was wasted, nothing was accidental, nothing was outside of divine design. Every piece of your journey was necessary. Every lesson was preparing you. Every pain was molding you into the person you were destined to become. You are not the same, and you never will be. The presence of God upon you has changed everything. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You no longer wait for signs, for you have become the sign. You no longer seek confirmation, for you already know. You do not hesitate, for you have already decided. You are not afraid, for you have already won. If you notice these things happening in your life, then you do not need to question it. You do not need further proof. You do not need validation. You carry the presence of God. It is undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable. You are no longer walking alone. You are no longer searching for answers. You are no longer wondering if you are chosen. You know, and that knowing is all you need. There is a force moving through you, an energy that cannot be contained, a light that cannot be hidden. You feel it when you wake up in the morning, a quiet assurance that no matter what happens, you are held, you are guided, you are seen. You no longer chase after what is already destined to be yours. You no longer beg for what has already been promised. You walk as one who knows that the divine is working on your behalf, orchestrating, aligning, moving the unseen to bring forth the seen. The world around you begins to shift. Situations that once brought you stress no longer hold the same weight. Situations that once provoked a reaction from you now feel unimportant. You find yourself responding with patience, with wisdom, with grace. It is not that the world has changed, but that you have. You are not the same person who once fought unnecessary battles. You have no desire to prove yourself, no need to defend yourself. The presence you carry speaks for itself. It announces itself before you even open your mouth. People notice that there is something different about you. They may not be able to articulate it, but they feel it. They sense a shift in your energy, a depth in your presence, a power in your silence. You do not need to explain yourself, for your life has become the evidence of something greater at work. You are not moved by gossip, not disturbed by chaos, not shaken by uncertainty. The world may be in turmoil, but you remain anchored. The winds may blow, but you do not sway. The storms may come, but you do not break. You stand firm, unmovable, unstoppable. Doors begin to open effortlessly. Opportunities find you without struggle. What once required force now flows naturally. The things you once ran after now run after you. You understand that what is meant for you cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. You no longer worry about the future because you know the future is already written in your favor. The presence within you ensures that every step is guided. Every decision is blessed. Every path is made straight. There is no need to rush, no need to strive, no need to control. You surrender, and in that surrender, everything falls into place. Your relationships change. Some people will drift away not because you push them out, but because they no longer align with where you are going. Others will be drawn to you, sent by divine timing, meant to walk this journey with you. You do not force connections, for you understand that what is divinely appointed will naturally stay. You do not cling the past, for you trust that whatever exits your life is making room for something greater. You release with grace, you let go with peace, you trust without fear. You begin to hear divine whispers in the quiet moments. You no longer need loud confirmations, dramatic signs, or external proof. You just know. There is an inner guidance, a sacred intuition that leads you, nudges you, speaks to you in ways that words cannot express. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, making decisions that seem small, but later reveal themselves to be monumental. You understand that nothing is random, that every moment is connected, that every experience is shaping you. Your battles are no longer fought with words, with anger, with resistance. You fight by standing still. You win by walking in peace. You overcome by refusing to be shaken. Your power is in your stillness, in your unshakable trust, in your ability to rest even when everything around you is in motion. The presence you carry does not require noise. It does not seek attention. It does not beg to be seen. It simply exists, and in its existence, everything changes. You find joy in the smallest moments, a sunrise, a quiet moment, a deep breath. You no longer need grand achievements to feel fulfilled. You no longer need recognition to feel worthy. You no longer need validation to feel enough. You are enough simply because you exist. You are complete, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. There is a contentment within you that nothing can take away. A joy that is not dependent on circumstances, a gratitude that flows effortlessly without condition, without expectation. Your vision expands. You no longer see with human eyes, but with divine perspective. You recognize that delays are not denials, that obstacles are only redirections, that every challenge carries a lesson. You do not panic when plans shift, for you understand that what is meant for you cannot be lost. You trust the process even when you do not understand it. You embrace the unknown, knowing that it is leading you somewhere greater. You walk by faith, not by sight, and in doing so you see what others cannot. Everything about you radiates assurance. You do not question your worth, for you know that you are chosen. You do not doubt your path, for you know that you are guided. You do not fear the future, for you know that it has already been secured. You move differently, speak differently, think differently. You are no longer waiting for permission to be you were created to be. You are no longer playing small, no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. You stand tall, fully aware of the light you carry, fully confident in the presence that dwells within you. Time bends in your favor. What should take years happens in months. What should be difficult becomes effortless. The impossible becomes possible. It is not luck, not coincidence, not chance. It is the divine presence moving through you, working for you, manifesting around you. You are not striving. You are flowing. You are not forcing. You are allowing. You are not chasing. You are attracting. Everything that belongs to you is making its way to you with perfect timing, with divine precision. You do not compare your journey to others, for you know that your path is uniquely designed for you. You are not in competition, not in a race, not in a hurry. You trust that what is yours will never miss you. You celebrate others without jealousy, knowing that their success does not diminish your own. You move with confidence, knowing that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. There is no need for anxiety, no room for doubt, no space for fear. You trust, and because you trust, you are at peace. The presence you carry cannot be hidden. It is felt in your words, in your silence, in your very being. It is not something you put on. It is something you embody. It does not fade, does not weaken, does not waver. It is constant, unwavering, eternal. It goes before you, making ways where there were none. It surrounds you, protecting you from what you cannot see. It dwells within you, filling you with wisdom, with strength, with clarity. If you have noticed these things in your life, then you already know. You do not need further proof. You do not need confirmation. You do not need validation. You carry the presence of God, and because of that, everything about your life is different. Everything about your future is secure. Everything about your path is aligned. There is nothing to fear, nothing to doubt, nothing to question. And that knowing is enough. There is a certainty that settles within you, a quiet knowing that you are never alone. Even in moments of solitude, there is a presence that envelops you, a warmth that reassures you, a whisper that speaks directly to your soul. You no longer seek external validation because the truth of who you are has already been revealed to you. The world may offer its opinions, but they do not define you. Circumstances may shift, but they do not shake you. The presence within you is the foundation upon which your life stands, and because of it, you cannot be moved. There is a divine order unfolding in your life. You begin to notice how things align without effort, how opportunities present themselves without struggle. The right people enter your life at the right time. The right doors open exactly when you need them to. You are no longer forcing things to happen. You are allowing them to unfold. You have stepped into a rhythm, a flow, where everything works together for your good. What once seemed impossible now feels inevitable. What once required endless striving now comes with ease. Your perception of time changes. You are no longer in a rush, no longer anxious about the future. You understand that what is meant for you will never miss you. You trust that everything is happening in divine timing, and because of that, you are at peace. Delays do not discourage you. Setbacks do not break you. Uncertainty does not make you afraid. You move with patience, knowing that everything is being arranged in ways beyond your understanding. You do not chase. You do not beg. You do not grasp. You receive. The presence within you draws things toward you without effort, without strain, without manipulation. What you seek is already seeking you. The desires of your heart are not random. They are planted within you for a reason. You no longer doubt your worthiness to receive. You no longer question whether you are deserving. You know that you are. You understand that you are not waiting for a blessing. You are the blessing. You are not waiting for an answer. You are the answer. Everything you need has already been placed inside of you. You find yourself detached from outcomes. You are no longer afraid of losing, no longer worried about missing an opportunity, no longer obsessed with controlling the process. You trust that what belongs to you cannot be taken, cannot be delayed, cannot be denied. This trust gives you freedom. You move with an open heart, unafraid of disappointment, unafraid of failure, unafraid of the unknown. You no longer hold on too tightly, For you know that what is yours will always return to you. There is a radiance in your presence. It is not forced, not fabricated, not performed. It simply is. You do not need to announce it, for it speaks for itself. People are drawn to you, not because of what you say, but because of what they feel in your presence. There is peace in your energy, wisdom in your silence, love in your very being. You carry something that cannot be explained, only experienced. Without trying, you uplift others. Without effort, you inspire. Without speaking, you remind people of something greater. Your faith is no longer dependent on what you see. You do not need signs to believe. You do not need proof to trust. You simply know. Even in moments of uncertainty, you remain confident. Even when things do not make sense, you remain steadfast. You understand that the presence within you is greater than anything that can come against you. You do not fear the unknown, for you know that you are held. You do not fear the future, for you know that it is already secure. There is a stillness within you. The world may be chaotic, but you are calm. Situations may be unpredictable, but you are steady. People may be unreliable, but you are anchored. You are no longer easily swayed by emotions, no longer reactive to negativity, no longer controlled by external circumstances. You observe, but you do not absorb. You acknowledge, but you do not engage. You understand that your peace is your power, and you guard it fiercely. Things that used to trigger you no longer have the same effect. Where you once would have reacted, you now respond with wisdom. Where you once would have engaged in unnecessary conflict, you now choose silence. Where you once would have fought to prove yourself, you now let your presence speak. You no longer seek validation, for you know that you are already enough. You no longer need permission, for you know that you are already chosen. Your prayers shift. You no longer pray from desperation, but from expectation. You do not beg, you declare. You do not plead, you affirm. You do not hope, you know. Your words carry power. Your intentions carry weight. Your desires manifest with ease. You understand that your thoughts create. Your beliefs shape reality. Your faith moves mountains. You are no longer asking for what is already yours. You are stepping into it with certainty. You feel a deep connection to everything around you. Nature speaks to you in ways it never has before. A breeze, a sunset, a quiet moment all feel sacred. You no longer rush through life, but savor it. You no longer overlook the small moments, but cherish them. You realize that presence is not just something you carry, it is something you live. You are fully here, fully aware, fully alive. Your heart expands, compassion flows effortlessly. You forgive easily, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You release resentment, not because the past changes, but because you refuse to be bound by it. You love without fear, without hesitation, without condition. Your love is not transactional, not limited, not selective. It is pure, abundant, overflowing. You no longer need love to be proven, for you have become love itself. You become an example without trying. Your life speaks louder than your words ever could. Your actions reflect your faith. Your presence reflects your peace. Your being reflects divine love. You do not need to force anyone to understand you, for those who are meant to will see it. You do not need to convince anyone of your worth, for those who recognize truth will honor it. You are a light, and light does not seek permission to shine, it simply shines. You recognize the divine in others. You see beyond appearances, beyond mistakes, beyond limitations. You see people not as they are, but as they are capable of becoming. You speak life into them, not by force, but by presence. You remind them, not with words, but with example. You do not demand change, you inspire it. You do not push growth, you embody it. Everything begins to align in ways you never imagined. Hearts open where there were none. Resources appear without explanation. Solutions arise without effort. It is not magic, not coincidence, not luck. It is divine orchestration. It is the natural flow of one who walks with presence, one who trusts the unseen, one who knows that they are guided. There is nothing to fear, nothing to prove, nothing to doubt. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are not waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are not waiting for permission. You are already chosen. You walk with authority, with certainty, with unshakable faith. You do not wonder if you carry presence. You know that you do. And because of that knowing, everything about your life is different. There is a deep sense of knowing that rises within you, a certainty that defies logic, a quiet voice that reassures you in ways no external words ever could. You no longer search for signs outside of yourself, because you have come to recognize that the greatest sign is within you. There is no need to seek validation from the world, for the presence you carry is your confirmation. You walk with a confidence that is not arrogant but assured. It is not based on circumstances, but on truth. Even when things seem unclear, you do not waver. Even when the path is uncertain, you do not fear. The presence within you is your compass, guiding you, directing you, aligning everything for your highest good. Situations that once troubled you no longer have the same power. You do not react as you once did. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself, to prove yourself, to explain yourself. The presence within you has settled every argument before it even begins. There is a peace that speaks louder than words, a stillness that cannot be shaken. The opinions of others no longer define you, for you know who you are. Rejection does not wound you, for you understand that nothing meant for you can ever pass you by. Delay does not discourage you, for you have come to trust divine timing. You are no longer a prisoner of external circumstances. You have become free in the true sense. Doors open effortlessly. What once required struggle now flows with ease. Where there were obstacles, now there are opportunities. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes inevitable. It is not that life has become easier, but that you have stepped into alignment. You no longer force, no longer chase, no longer manipulate outcomes. Instead, you allow, you trust, you receive. Everything you need is drawn to you, not through effort, but through presence. There is a quiet power in knowing that you do not have to strive, that you do not have to beg, that you do not have to push. What is yours will always find you. Your very being carries authority. It is not in the volume of your words, but in the weight of your presence. You do not need to prove your power, it is felt. You do not need to announce your wisdom, that is known. There is something about you that shifts the atmosphere, something unseen yet undeniable. When you enter a room, things change. People sense it without understanding it. Some are drawn to it, others are unsettled by it, but none can ignore it. It is the mark of those who carry presence. You are no longer easily moved by the opinions of others. Praise does not inflate you, and criticism does not diminish you. You are anchored, grounded, unwavering. You understand that approval from people is fleeting, but the presence within you is eternal. You do not seek to please everyone, for you know that not everyone will understand the path you walk. You do not seek to be understood by all, for you realize that truth is often recognized only by those who are ready to see it. You are at peace with being misunderstood, at ease with walking alone if necessary, content with the knowledge that you are guided. Your relationship with challenges has transformed. What once seemed like opposition now feels like preparation. What once felt like resistance now appears as refinement. You do not resent difficulties, you embrace them. You do not fear hardship. You welcome growth. There is a deep trust that no experience is wasted, that every challenge carries a lesson, that even in the most difficult moments, you are being shaped for something greater. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, you ask, what is this teaching me? And in that shift, you find strength where others find despair. You begin to notice divine synchronicities unfolding all around you. The right words appear at the right time. The right connections happen effortlessly. Answers come before the questions are even spoken. You are being guided in ways beyond human comprehension, led down a path that was prepared for you long before you were aware of it. The more you trust, the more the signs appear. The more you let go, the more everything aligns. You have stepped into a flow where struggle is replaced by surrender, where worry is replaced by wonder, where fear is replaced by faith. Your desires begin to manifest with precision. You no longer hope for things, you expect them. You do not beg for blessings, you step into them. Your prayers shift from requests to declarations, from asking to affirming, from wishing to knowing. You understand that what you seek is already seeking you. You realize that the dreams placed in your heart were never random. They were divine instructions waiting to be followed. And as you align with that truth, things unfold in ways that leave no doubt. There is an undeniable power in your words. You do not speak idly, for you understand the weight of what you declare. You no longer say things casually, for you know that words shape reality. You choose your thoughts carefully, your speech intentionally, your affirmations with certainty. What you speak, you see. What you believe, you become. You do not entertain negativity. Do not engage in doubt. Do not dwell in fear. Your mind is a garden, and you protect it fiercely. You plant only what you wish to grow. You begin to radiate a love that is unshaken by circumstances. You are no longer easily offended, no longer easily angered, no longer burdened by past hurts. You forgive not because others deserve it, but because you refuse to carry the weight of resentment. You love not because of what you receive in return, but because love is your nature. You give freely expecting nothing, knowing that abundance is your birthright. Your presence heals without effort, uplifts without trying, transforms without force. You recognize divine purpose in everything. Even the smallest moments feel significant. A simple conversation carries deeper meaning. A quiet moment becomes sacred. You no longer rush through life, but savor it. You no longer overlook the ordinary, but find the extraordinary within it. Life itself becomes a reflection of the presence you carry. Your faith is no longer something you practice occasionally. It is something you live. It is in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you move through the world. It is in your stillness, in your confidence, in your ability to trust even when nothing makes sense. You are no longer seeking miracles. You have become one. You are no longer searching for signs. You are the sign. You do not wait for confirmation. You are already chosen. And because of that knowing, you carry yourself differently. You think differently, speak differently, move differently. Everything around you begins to reflect the presence within you. People sense it before you speak. Opportunities align without effort. Doors open without knocking. You do not chase. You do not grasp. You do not force. You trust. You receive. You embody. The presence within you is undeniable. It is seen. It is felt. It is known. It is who you are. You are no longer waiting for a sign because you have become the sign. You are no longer searching for answers outside of yourself because the truth has always been within you. The presence you carry is not something you strive for. It is something you surrender to. It is not something you chase. It is something you embody. The moment you recognize it, everything changes. Your steps are guided. Your path is clear, and your spirit is at peace. Walk boldly knowing that you do not move alone. Speak with authority knowing that your words shape reality. Trust unwaveringly, knowing that what is meant for you will always find you. Carry this presence with humility, with certainty, and with love. For when you do not just live, you transform. And through you, the world sees the undeniable proof that God is with you.